Beautiful Chaos, Infinite Love. Raising Kids, Reflecting Grace, and Revealing the Father's Heart by Benjamin Edwards. Read to you by the author.
Introduction. I'm not a prolific writer, which, admittedly, feels like an odd way to start a book I've written. Writing has never been my sole passion, and it probably never will be. If you asked my wife, she'd probably tell you I'm wrong about this whole not a writer thing. She's my biggest cheerleader, my fiercest critic in the best way, and the person who knows me better than anyone else on the planet. She'd roll her eyes and say, "You've been writing for years, just not in the way you think." And maybe she's right. I've written blogs, shared my perspectives for the local paper, and penned the occasional heartfelt letter. But even so, calling myself a writer feels like trying on a jacket that's a bit too snug in the shoulders, which honestly totally tracks because none of my jackets fit well. I seem to have a knack for buying ones that are either too tight or too loose, as though I'm perpetually one size away from the perfect fit. I read these towering infernos of intellect, books, essays, articles that leave me in awe, and I can't help but think, who am I to even try? For the record, I'm an avid reader. I devour books like they're the lifeline to understanding the world. But still, calling myself a writer, that feels like pushing it. And yet, every now and then, life hands you something so true, so foundational, so interwoven with who you are that the only reasonable response is to try to put it into words. This, for me, is one of those times. Now, let's clear something up right away. I didn't actually put pen to paper. Not because I don't respect the noble art of handwriting, but because my penmanship is, well, let's just say it has a certain abstract quality. If I'd handwritten this, we'd both be sitting here trying to decode what I meant by that particular squiggle. Or was it a doodle? Either way, no pen. But I'm still not a writer. Not really. So why, you might ask, am I writing this book? And why, of all subjects, am I tackling fatherhood when I've only got a few years of dad experience under my belt? The answer is deceptively simple. Because it needs to be written. More than that, it needs to be wrestled with, questioned, and I hope embraced. This isn't just about me sharing opinions. It's about diving into a perspective that I believe is worth exploring. But before we go any further, let me make one thing crystal clear. You don't have to agree with me. Really, you don't. I mean, who am I anyway? I don't have a fancy title, a degree in theology, or a bookshelf stacked with bestsellers bearing my name. I'm just a guy who loves to learn, self-taught, endlessly curious, and deeply passionate about God. And maybe that's why I felt compelled to write this. Because what I want to share isn't based on credentials or accolades. It's based on truth. A truth that shaped my life and could very well shape yours too. And let's be clear, this truth isn't mine, it's God's. I'm not here to dazzle you with my accomplishments. There aren't many to dazzle with anyway, or pretend I have everything figured out. I've never been a senior pastor, never led a church, and certainly never written a bestseller. I've spent most of my life serving under others, sometimes well, sometimes, let's just say, less well. But here I am, writing to you in all my glorious imperfection. Not to show off my life, but to point you to the one who's made my life worth living.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?